All right. Hello, everyone. Today, we will be negotiating or discussing the negotiation that happened for flexible work arrangements for work life balance. I am Ashley Dorsey, and thank you all for joining. So, starting off with this quick agenda, we'll be discussing the parties that are involved, the negotiation process, tactics that were utilized by myself, the central route of influence and peripheral route of influence, substantive frames, procedural frames, network diagram, and outcome and lessons learned. So, starting off with the parties, we have myself, Ashley Dorsey, which I'm an HR generalist at Hoshizaki America. We have my direct manager, which is Jennifer Andrews, and she's the benefits and payroll manager. And then lastly, we have Karen Leto, which is the VP of Human Resources. Starting off with the powers that Karen would use, which or did use, which is legitimate power and control of resources. And as the VP of HR, some of Karen's goals would be, to ensure legal and compliance policies are met and consistent throughout the organization, and also, support organizational change and employee engagement initiatives. So some of those were some of her goals going into this conversation. Jennifer Andrews, in regards to her powers, positional power and control of resources. And so some of her goals were ensuring team productivity is not compromised and maintaining a level of consistency and fairness in the organization and in her department. And then lastly, myself, some of my powers, referent power was very utilized or strongly utilized in this negotiation, and so was informational power. And then some of my goals were to gain approval for this flexible work arrangement, demonstrating mutual benefits of flexibility and establishing potentially a precedent for the future work from home initiatives. So during the negotiation process, it was very important for me to define my goals and establish clear expectations, and also make sure that I'm reviewing information that's associated with work from home and employee engagement data. It was important also to have relationship building. So making sure that I even going into this project that I was collaborating amongst the different parties, building that rapport, establishing trust. Information gathering. So just, making sure that I was gathering that data associated with work from home initiatives, utilizing that information and constructing and being able to deliver and discuss that information. Bidding, which just means that when I facilitated this presentation, I was ensuring that each party had time to review and construct feedback, and then closing the deal, making sure that each party committed to the deal verbally and received signed and written documentation supporting these agreements and this change, and then implementing the agreements. So moving forward, we were able to schedule one-on-ones, or will be able to schedule one-on-ones with Jennifer Andrews on designated remote days to ensure optimized efficiency and clear daily expectations. So, some of the tactics that were utilized in this process were deadlines, nibbling, precedent, and also legitimacy. I think the most important one had to have been legitimacy. So, in order to enhance the legitimacy of my proposal, I was able to present data on industry trends, employee satisfaction surveys, productivity statistics. And this tactic really helped me to establish a factual basis for my negotiation. And it was able to reinforce that work from home arrangements are not just personal preference, but essential for retaining and attracting new talent. Central route of influence. So I was able to present data on productivity and performance, data on job satisfaction and retention, and then also data on industry trends supporting flexible work arrangements. And some of that data, included statistics about result-oriented work environments. So studies that companies that have implemented this tactic, which is a model where employees are evaluated based on performance and results rather than hours worked. And we were able to find that productivity actually increased by 35% when using this tactic. So a lot of good data was shared with Karen Leto and was shared with Jennifer Andrews. With the peripheral route of influence, so leveraging emotional appeals, trust, and social proofs. So we have the emotional appeal, emphasizing employee well-being, how that works, and then building credibility, and then social proofs, which is success stories and precedents from other departments and companies. Substantive frames, so talking about the terms and agreement that I was able to come up with and then also get the two other parties to agree to. So an effective date, this agreement is to begin on January 13th, 2025, when everybody returns back from the new year, and it will remain in effect until I complete my MBA program. And a final review of the arrangement will take place on December 16th, 2024. So at the end of this year, right before we actually implement it. Work schedule. Ashley will be permitted to work remotely on Mondays and Fridays each week. The remaining work days will be in office as per the company's standard policies. Job responsibilities was another frame that I was able to come up with and get approved. Ashley will continue to meet all existing responsibilities as outlined in her job description. Some more substantive frames. So communication standards, Ashley will maintain, open lines of communication, providing regular status updates to the manager. And then lastly, evaluation and review. The flexible work arrangement will be reviewed once a month to assess its effectiveness and impact on job performance. And this last clause or agreement really just kind of honed in on the fact that if any issues arise, including performance issues, then this agreement could be terminated. Procedural frames. So I thought it was most helpful to have the location slash setting arranged prior to the meeting. So I arranged that this meeting is an in-person meeting rather than virtual. It was noted that the additional meetings could be scheduled virtually after our in-person meeting. And I thought that the effectiveness of this was really helpful for the agreement and for the review of the performance moving forward. But it was very helpful that it started off as an in-person meeting. Next, we have our network diagram. And then outcome, as a group, we were able to reach an agreement. The terms that were presented were deemed as fair and reasonable accommodations. The VP of HR was very, very supportive. As she is the one who, controls the resources and things of that such, she was very supportive in us coming to an outcome, into a outcome that was favorable to all of us. Lessons that I learned was that preparing and utilizing these tactics did help better prepare me for my negotiation, and it created a logical agenda of, just how and when to discuss said topics and when to move on to the next topics. And that really helped me in planning this negotiation. And then it also helped me when I was actually having the negotiation. Thank you all again for your time.